JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, 6 shot, 2 fatally in Norwood gun attack. 2 men are dead while 4 others, including a 9-month-old baby, are nursing gunshot wounds following a deadly attack by gunmen in Norwood, St. James on Wednesday night. Dead are 31-year-old Delano Christie, a shopkeeper who operated an establishment in the area, and 26-year-old Jordan Brown. According to the Constabulary's Corporate Communications Unit, both men were part of a group of people playing dominoes at the shop operated by Christie at approximately 8:15 p.m. when gunmen approached them and opened fire. All 6 people were taken to the hospital, where Brown and Christie were pronounced dead. The others, including the infant, who was reportedly shot in the neck, were admitted for treatment. Police say they have not yet established a motive for the killing. An investigation into the incident is ongoing. The attack comes less than 48 hours after the government implemented a state of public emergency in 7 parishes across the country, including St. James. The SOEs were established with the hopes of curbing the country's rampant crime problem. Norwood, which has been a hotspot for years, remains a zone of special operations (ZOZO). In the last 6 months, the police have been forced to use curfews to quell flare-ups in the area. Illegal gun and ammo seized in St. Thomas, 2 arrested. The Morant Bay Police in St. Thomas yesterday seized an illegal handgun and several rounds of ammunition during an operation in the community of White Horses. 2 people are in custody in relation to the seizure. The police report that about 5:30 a.m., a team executed a search warrant at a location in the community. While searching the premises, the police team reportedly observed a man fleeing from the property and discarding an object as he ran. The police say he was pursued, caught, and the item retrieved. According to the police, the item was a .38 special revolver located with 6.38 rounds of ammunition. 2 persons were arrested. Decomposing body found on Palisadoes Main Road. The body of an unidentified man was found along the Palisadoes Main Road on Wednesday, November 16. According to reports from the Elliston Road Police, passers-by stumbled upon the body at about 12:45 p.m. On arrival of the lawmen, the decomposing body of the man was seen lying on the roadway. The scene was processed and the body removed to the morgue. Investigations are ongoing. January 24 committal hearing for a cop who left daughter in car. Detective Sergeant Sheldon Dobson, the policeman whose infant daughter died after being locked in his car at the Black River Police Station in January this year, will undergo a committal hearing in the St. Elizabeth Parish Court on January 24, 2023. Dobson, who is charged with manslaughter in relation to the child's death, was given the new date when he appeared in court today. Bail was extended by presiding Senior Parish Judge Roderick Smith. Attorney Thomas Levine, who is representing Dobson, said that he was given full disclosure of the prosecution's files during today's hearing. The court indicated it is now ready to have a hearing in the matter, so that is why it was set for that date of January 24, where a determination will be made if the case will go to the circuit court, Levine explained. According to reports, on January 18 this year, Dobson was expected to take his daughter to daycare, but he allegedly forgot and went to work at the Black River Police Station at 8 a.m., leaving the child in his car. The infant was found unconscious in the car hours later at 4 p.m. and was rushed to the Black River Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. It is understood that while the child was normally left in the care of her grandmother, she was enrolled in daycare after the elderly woman fell ill. Dobson was tasked with dropping the child off at daycare on the day of her death, but reportedly went to work while forgetting his daughter in the car. JULIET HOLNESS rebuffs concocted action at Jerk Festival in Florida. Member of Parliament for St. Andrew East Royal JULIET HOLNESS has signaled that she is not perturbed by what she calls the concocted action of a few at a Jerk Festival in the city of Miramar in Florida on Sunday. In a statement today, Holness, who is also Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, said her 6-day visit to the United States yielded significant positive outcomes for Jamaica. Holness, who is also the wife of Prime Minister Andrew Holness, noted that in New York, at the invitation of the Issa Trust Foundation, as patron of For the Children charity gala on Saturday, November 12, she helped to raise $400,000 or approximately 62 million Jamaican dollars towards the establishment of the first pediatric clinic in Jamaica, the Mary Issa Children's Health Center in St. Anne. While at the Jerk Festival, Holness said she highlighted the importance of the culture of Jamaica and his contribution to the world. As Wholeness took to the stage, after being introduced by Jamaica's Consul General based in Miami, Oliver Mayer, boos rang out during her remarks. In hitting back today, Wholeness dismissed what she called a concocted and planned negative narrative and a coordinated video clip around her presence at the event. It would be remiss of me to overlook the overwhelming positive response I received at the festival and generally in Miramar before, during and after my brief address to focus on a handful of persons with ill intent. The narrative shared by political or organized persons misrepresents the love, respect and support received on the ground, she said. My visit was solely to advance the interests of Jamaica by positively engaging Jamaicans and friends in the diaspora. Mission accomplished, she continued. Wholeness said she completed her visit by attending a welcome reception held in her honor, where she was presented with the key to the city of Miramar. She was also presented with a tech scholarship worth US $15,000 for a qualified member for her constituency. One Don Gang trial summation by Sykes postponed until next year. The resumption of the One Don Gang trial in the Home Circuit Court has again been delayed. The long-standing trial, which was last adjourned in September, was slated to resume tomorrow with presiding judge, Chief Justice Brian Sykes, set to begin his summation. But the Court Administration Division today informed that the matter is unable to proceed because of the volume of evidence that is being reviewed, as well as Sykes' administrative responsibilities. The agency says the case has been postponed until the Hillary term of the Home Circuit Court. The summation is now expected to be done during the first 2 weeks of the new term, which begins in January 2023. 27 of the 33 defendants who were initially indicted under the Criminal Justice, Suppression of Criminal Organizations Act and the Firearms Act remain on trial. One of the defendants, Andrew Smith, was shot and killed in August, while the other 5 were freed. Fuel theft hurting JUTC. The management of the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, says it is pursuing new ways to combat the innovative methods which thieves have been using to pilfer fuel from its four depots, even as it struggles with gas prices that jumped by 56% over the past year. Managing Director of the JUTC, Paul Abrams, advised the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, PAAC, on Wednesday that the state-owned bus company is looking at testing buses with a system which will record massive drops in fuel levels after a select period of use. This would then send an alert to the JUTC immediately. Abrams stressed that the bus company cannot monitor theft solely with human resources. Abrams said thieves have found more innovative ways to pilfer. We discovered the other day that what they do now is to open the inspection plate and tie the float valve to make it look like it's full. So when the bus is leaving the depot, the fuel gauge will register full, and then within an hour and a half the bus is out of fuel. So what we have had to do now is to go through all the buses and reseal so they cannot get access to the fuel sending area, he explained. Abrams said this is an administrative intense activity, but that the company has made significant inroads in stemming the pilferage through this tracking mechanism. What we're doing right now is look at certain buses that seem to replicate those shutting down, and we're targeting those buses, and we have seen a significant reduction in the buses that were run out of fuel per, he said. The managing director noted the most recent police crackdown on a large criminal ring. We have had a couple of successes prior to that, but it is very hard to track a bus and follow it along its route to see that it continues and remains on its schedule. Those are the nuances that we're battling with out there. You are talking an operation that runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Abrams told the committee also that the JUTC will begin implementation of its long-proposed cashless fare collection system by February. The cash-strapped company has struggled for years with fare box theft. Meanwhile, the bus company's fuel budget remains in a bind, with just half of the $1 billion it asked the finance minister for having been approved in the first supplementary estimates. Abrams advised the committee on Wednesday that the company could find itself short of about $200 million of fuel. What we requested we did not receive. However, we're going to have to manage very carefully to ensure that we can stretch this allocation to the end of the month. The Finance Ministry has approved $522 million, according to the supplementary estimates, which were tabled in the House of Representatives last week. Permanent Secretary Alwyn Hales noted that since the request was made, there has been a slight downward trend in gas prices. Committee Chairman Michael Phillips lamented the state of the JUTC and the resource and monetary issues it continues to face, pointing to Monday's strike by public transport operators. It begs the question of how serious are we in really cauterizing some of these issues, seeing that we're asking taxpayers to pay nearly $8 billion of subvention to the JUTC this financial year. It's really a frustrating issue how we treat the JUTC, that when there was a strike it could not even fit in because of lack of buses, he said. WILMAN banks on handwriting expert in Armstrong kangaroo case. Attorney at law Hugh Wildman on Wednesday urged the court to immediately stay the charges against Antigua's Director of Public Prosecutions, Anthony Armstrong, in the real estate fraud case, contending that the police's own handwriting expert has vindicated his client. Wildman said that the handwriting expert in a statement had fingered the complainant's cousin, Shelley Peart Campbell, who is Armstrong's co-accused, as a person whose handwriting appears on the transfer documents of the 3 properties Armstrong is accused of selling. So that not destroy the case. What are you talking about here? An innocent man trying to destroy the reputation of a well-upstanding citizen and outstanding public servant, Wildman said. The accused lawyers alleged to have sold 3 properties belonging to the complainant while he was incarcerated overseas and without his permission in 2004. It is further alleged that the complainant had initially retained Armstrong to handle the purchase of the same 3 properties, 2 in St. Andrew and 1 in St. Anne. During submissions before Parish Judge Venice Blackstock-Murray on Wednesday, Wildman contended that the police did not carry out a proper investigation and should be held accountable. This is a kangaroo case and a classic case of abuse of process, he said. The police handwriting witness says not Mr. Armstrong, is Shelley. This is really a wicked act against Mr. Armstrong. While emphasizing that the judge has the jurisdiction to stay the proceedings, Wildman said there was an abuse of process based on the principles of delay, prosecutorial misconduct, and lack of evidence in the case. He pointed to the Privy Council case involving Winston Warren, in which the court ruled that there were criminal or civil proceedings are brought after 6 years after the alleged offense. The proceedings is an abuse of process and must be stayed. They thought 6 years was oppressive, but we're talking about 18 years on the Crown's case, which is double and triple oppression, Wildman told the court. He argued that based on the principles, Armstrong would have been denied an opportunity to call witnesses and bring documents, and essentially would be at a disadvantage. Furthermore, he said, the DPP get the file and never rule. The DPP could not rule, and they did not, so that is part of the abuse of process. The prosecutorial misconduct residing in the police force, and the witness that you had brought here. According to Wildman, his client had only assisted the complainant with the purchase of one of the properties and had nothing to do with the purchase of the other 2 properties. Wildman said his client assisted the complainant out of the goodness of his heart and had not even collected gas money when it was offered. There's a saying, no good deed go unpunished, so you have to be careful how you help people, because it will come around to soak you, he said. Wildman claims that the complainant went after his client as he was desperate to get money after being released from prison, and he realized that his client was in a good job in Antigua. He said the complainant told his client that he was going to dirty up his reputation in Jamaica if he did not give him money. Wildman said his client ended up sending some funds to the client, but stopped after a while. The complainant, however, alleges that the money was sent as part of the money that Armstrong had promised to repay him for selling his properties. Wildman will complete his submission on December 5. Peart Campbell also appeared in court on Wednesday. However, her matter was scheduled for December 14. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.